we cannot just conclude from here, right? So what we do is say that we just assume that we just call this function, okay, and we assume that it will give the correct part, of the correct intersection. It will give. What does that mean? That from 1 to 5 and 5 to 7, whatever is the intersection. Okay, so what is the intersection? Only at the element 5, right? So this is going to give you the part. This is going to give you this. Okay, and this tree is going to give you 5 to 7. So where is your 5 to 7? Sorry, 6 to 7, right? So this is this, right? So we assume. So what do we do is recursively call the function, okay, and let that function return the respective intervals which are significant for your range 5 to 7. So that happens to be two intervals out here, 5 and 6, 7, right? Okay. So that's the way it basically proceeds. So then we find the minimum of this function. When you call it recursively, calls this and this. Okay, this is going to return to some further recursive calls and going to return t of 5. Okay, and this is going to return t of 6. Right? The minimum of the two which is going to give you the final answer for the range 5 to 6 or 5 to 7. Right? Okay, so now let's see how the query function can work. So is this important? Should I erase this? Should I have it in your notebook? Should I just erase this? Fine. There is one thing to note. Okay, let's say we are querying the interval 5 to 7, or say a bigger interval, say from 2 till 10. Okay, querying this interval. Okay, and we come across a node in the segment tree which stores the details for 3 till 5. Okay, we are querying 2 till 10, 2 till 10. Okay, and we come across across a node which stores the information for 2 till 5. Okay, so one thing we know that we don't need to break the case further because 2 till 5 is completely included in this interval, right? So this node, okay, which is storing the information from 5 till 7, can immediately return and tell that that's the minimum, right? Because it doesn't need to break the case further because the case is, it's completely inclusive, right? That range has completely been included in the query range. Getting it? Right? What I'm trying to say. Okay, the segment tree node which stores that range is completely included, so we don't need to break the case out further into the recursive parts. So this is how your query would look. Okay, so these three parameters are going to remain as it is because they just signify your position in the tree and the range that's the tree stores. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, you need two extra parameters out here. That will be your query low and query high, right? Okay, so you want to find the answer for in the range query low to query high. So we have. Okay, so these are the parameters. Okay, so first the base conditions that if your range low and high is completely inside the range q low and q high, in that case you know that the answer that you don't need to break it further. You can just return t of k, okay, as the value. Following this, somewhat, right? Okay. So when does that happen? That if low has to be greater than equal to q low, and this will this is fine. Okay, so in this case that when you have the range completely lying inside the query range, you return the value as it is. Okay. Now another simple case is when there is no intersection of the ranges. Okay. So you're querying say the range 5 to 7 and the tree value stores 2 till 4. Okay. So in that case you never want any value to be selected from this range. So you just return some big value which signifies that don't consider this don't consider this in the final answer. So return some big value if there is no intersection. So there are two cases when there cannot be any intersection. One is when the first, say when your low to high range ends before q low and q high begins. Okay, see, it's always going to be like this on the number line. You will have low, high, and you will have. This is one case. Okay, when this interval has ended before this has begun. Or the second case is when swap. Okay, the q low, q high is before low and high. In this case, there is no intersection. So what are the two conditions? That high should be lesser than q low, okay, or q high should be lesser than low. two conditions, in which case you return some big value because there is no intersection of the two ranges. I'm putting this I, right? That's infinity. Okay, now the third case is when there is some intersection of the ranges, so you have to break up the case further. So what do you do? Simple. Just put these two lines out here, now the make it cube, okay, as it is, and that's your return the minimum that the two return. Okay, so in R1 equal to 20, P into 2. I'm just assuming mid is the same, that same mid is out here. Okay, so we have this is a complete query function. Okay, it might be a bit easy right now because it's not a very easy concept to digest, but you can just try out some examples. You can write this code on your own, maybe, and practice some problems. That gives you a basic idea at least how to do it. Right? Okay, so this is your code. Just for check for if there's any range completely lies inside. Otherwise, no intersection. Otherwise, break up into two cases. Return the minimum. Okay, so now applications of segmentation. So one is simple right now that you can just query. And this is pretty efficient. The complexity of writing the complexity of this is not very trivial. You cannot just make out from, because there are two calls right now. Okay. So the height of the tree is log n, but there are two calls, right? And they might be breaking up further. So you're not sure of it. Don't go to the derivation right now. Okay. It's close to log n square. Okay. Fine. So now this is your query. Okay. Now let's look at what do you call it? Some typical problems that you can solve using segment trees. Okay. So some operations. So one is your range minimum maximum that you can do. Okay. Now any other problem? Let's say the previous problem about that set. Okay. Anshuman had said that you can use segment trees to solve it. Yeah. So how do you do it?
So just do the count of the elements in a range and just check if the left count is less, then go to the left.
Exactly. Okay. So now out here in the tree, what we storing the minimum in a given range, right? In that modifying version, we store the count in a given range. Okay. So now it's again simple that if you want to say, find what's the number of elements in the range 1 to k. Okay. So what we do is that just you get the basic idea, right? It's the same thing. Okay, breaking up the problem and finally doing it. Okay, then that's one thing. Okay, just I'll give you a rough, and I won't write out and I won't draw the diagram. I just tell you how operations, how update operations can be done. Okay, so let's say that we have, you want to update some value. Okay, in this minimum, okay, say you want to update a of 5. Okay, so what do we do is that a of 5 is changed. So we know we should first mark in that tree where does 5, the range 5 to 5, where does it come inside the tree. Once we mark that, change that. Okay, change it, then go to the parent of that node. Okay, and change it if needed. Go to the parent.